Hi, welcome back to the Counterfeit Emotions podcast. I'm Curtis Morley, and I'm an emotionologist. And today we have a very special guest, a dear friend of mine, Carrie Hill with Chill Consulting. She is amazing in so many different ways. Has helped numerous different companies, I think over 40 brands with PR and publicity, has been on radio and TV, and has her own podcast, the Refined Resilience Podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts. It is fantastic. She also does work advising organizations like Promise to Live. And if you want someone that will invest deeply in what you're doing, Carrie's the woman. And today we're going to just get into our hearts and just have an amazing conversation about counterfeit emotions, about life, about the struggle of life, and how to overcome and find resilience. So Carrie, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, I love that you just know me well enough that you can just say who I am. That just makes me so happy. So thank you. It's great to have heartwarming conversations with friends. You're in a safe space.
Yeah.
You can feel each other's energy, and you know how you have supported each other outside of the studio. And so I love you, Curtis. You're doing a great job with the work that you are putting out into the world, and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
and right back at you. And we've had some fun adventures.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing different events. And
You know, it's funny. I feel like I've just known you forever. Like, I don't even remember when I first met you. You've just been in my life for the past couple of years.
yeah.
I think about 2 years, and it just feels like we've just been best friends my whole life. So I love that.
Doing all sorts of good together.
Yeah.
And I want to just say thank you. Thank you for the good you do.
Oh.
Like I love the conversation we had on the Refined Resilience podcast around pornography recovery. And I loved your heart when, especially when we talked about what do you do when one of your kids come to you and say, "Hey, I've been looking at pornography." And your response was so beautiful.
Oh.
Your response was so beautiful.
Oh,
that
thanks, Curtis.
you started with a thank you and be like, okay, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how first of all, that conversation was so good for me as well to learn from you. And I think anytime we talk about shame and guilt around our experiences is an eye-opening conversation to have. People tend to turn very quickly and listen, right, to that because it's something that we all deal with, regardless of what the experience is. We have some sense of shame and guilt around something in our life, you know? And I think pornography is obviously one of the bigger things that people talk about related to those two emotions. And especially when we're talking about our children. And especially when we're talking about our children with pornography experiences in this state, in this culture. It's a really crucial conversation to have from the lens of gratitude. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for that trust.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me in your teenage world as your parent, and thanks for letting me see the struggles that you're going through. And I just hold that kind of trust in such high regard, you know? I think oftentimes we spend so much of our time hoping that our teenagers can understand us, you know? And really it's just about going back 20 some odd years into that headspace and thinking, wow, 20 some odd years have passed, and look at what's happened in technology. Look at the world that these kids are operating in. We know nothing about the world that they're operating in right now. And porn is a regular, everyday experience for them.
Yeah, well, the National Library of Medicine, they did the survey and said how many people in the last month have looked at pornography, and 91.5% of men. And here's the even more startling statistic: 60.5% of women said yes.
Wow.
So it is pervasive, and most are seeing it between the ages of 8 and 12. That's their first exposure.
Why do you think that is, Curtis?
The recency of, or the women's side of things.
Just all of it, the increase, you know, collectively in kids getting younger and younger, right? And having exposure to that more and more and more.
Yeah. Of course, we've got a cell
So
phone in
sure.
every kid's hand,
Right.
but it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like the exposure is one thing, but the repeat behavior,
Mhm.
the addictive behavior, and I don't say the addiction.
Mhm.
I very specifically use the word addictive behavior
Mhm.
because addiction has such a stigma and says you are labeled as
Yes.
this person.
Yes.
But that addictive behavior, it really is coming from our lack of need
Mhm.
to dive into our emotions.
Mm.
And what I've found, I'm actually in the middle of a research study right now of understanding the four elements
Mm.
of pornography addiction, and or excuse me, I just used the word pornography recovery, not
Yeah.
addiction.
Yeah.
Let me restate: pornography recovery, not addiction. And the four elements are the sexual aspect, the physical aspect,
Mhm.
the habitual aspect, and then the big one, the emotional aspect.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's why I think we're in the place we are, is because kids don't need to explore their emotions like they
Mhm.
did in the past.
Mhm.
We've all got one of these
Right.
devices that you can doom
Mhm.
scroll and you can play Candy Crush for hours and hours. Actually, I just saw on Mel Robbins' podcast, she said that these devices will account for 20 years of our lives. We
Wow.
will look at this
For
screen
20
for
years.
20
Wow.
years of our lives. That's
Mm.
so startling.
Mm.
But that's what we're doing, is we're escaping, we're
Mhm.
numbing, we're distracting, we're getting in these places where, hey, there's a hard emotion. Oh, I know what to do.
Mhm.
I've got a device right here that can give me dopamine, that can give me adrenaline, can give me all these different brain chemicals,
Mm.
and I don't have to feel
Yeah, and
anymore.
I don't have to critically think through it, right? So it's
Yes.
never actually problem
Yes.
solving. It's just numbing,
Yeah.
right? That's and I think that to me that is the biggest loss that we see through phone usage among younger people, even among ourselves. I
Yeah.
remember on my podcast, you talked about, how the algorithm just knew you so well when you went to put your products in your basket for Christmas. It already knew. It had your basket like populated for you, right? Based on what you had been
It
searching.
was there.
You didn't have to do anything. You just had to push buy,
Uh,
and I think that is the world that we're living in. Everything is catered, everything is cultivated. So if you are numbing consistently and you're constantly looking at that numbing content, it's just going to keep feeding you numbing content. You're never going to get past that barrier
yeah.
into yourself. And so I love that you focus on that, the emotional aspect of that, the deep connection, because I think those two things are synonymous with critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Right? You can't dig in deeper into yourself unless you are able to actually see what it is that you're experiencing and name it. I really love too, Curtis, that you use addictive behavior. Um, I think labels are I've learned as I've gotten older in my life. I mean, I'm only 25, so You are too, right? Maybe 30.
The gray might give me
Right.
away.
But I've learned as I've gotten older, that that we unless we can say the thing that we're feeling, we can't do anything about it. We can't do anything with it
Until we can name it.
until we can name it, right?
Yeah.
So name the fear, name the numbing, name the escaping, right? Name the things that you're dealing with in your life, because it enables you to label the thing and not yourself.
Yeah.
I am afraid,
The action.
the action of it, right?
Yes.
And then you
Yes.
take yourself out of that context, and now it becomes about dealing with the actual thing
Yeah.
instead of you. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is so important because with our recovery program,
Mhm.
what we do is we get into every single day. We call it the PEMS call,
Mhm.
where the men have to call each other. And I say at the beginning, you're going to become an emotional ninja,
Yeah.
because every day you're going to get on and you're going to say, I feel physically,
Mm.
so the P,
Mhm.
physically, I feel blank. I
Yeah.
feel energized, I feel excited, or I feel hurt, or I feel injured,
Mm.
or I feel hungry, or so physically, how do I feel?
Mhm.
And understanding the body, there's the four aspects: sexual, physical,
Right.
habitual, and then the emotional. If our body is screaming
Mm.
to our brain, it's time for fight or flight.
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If our body's saying, hey, you're either starving, you're dehydrated, you're sedentary, so
Yeah.
you're not active, your blood's not flowing, you're sleep deprived, whatever it is, our bodies are 80% afferent and only
Mm.
20% efferent, which means that in the electric superhighway of our body, 80% of the signals go to our brain, only 20% go down.
Wow.
And the reason that's important is anytime we're feeling super hungry, super tired,
Mm-hmm.
super whatever the physical condition is, it's saying fight or flight, fight or flight,
Yeah.
fight or flight. And then we go, oh, flight, hey, I know how to flight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
start flighting.
Mm-hmm.
Or and so understanding that aspect. So that's the first one, is the physical. Then we get into the emotional. Emotionally, how am I feeling?
Mm.
Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling
Mm-hmm.
worried? Am I feeling excited? Whatever it is, understanding that. Then
Mm-hmm.
mentally, am I feeling alert? Am I feeling, what's the state of my brain
Yeah.
right now? And then spiritually, how is my soul feeling?
Mm-hmm.
And then socially, do I feel supported? Do I
Mm.
feel isolated? Do I, that social aspect? And then the last one is sexual.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, of the 4 elements of the addictive behavior, the sexual is the smallest.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the sexual part of it is the outlet
Yes.
for all the other things that you're feeling.
Yes.
Right. So it is actually last on the list,
Yeah.
because those other things that you've just stated are so prominent within our bodies that the need to escape those things is a progressive path. Right. So you feel, you name, you label, you do. Right.
Yeah.
So changing that addictive habitual behavior to say, if we can name these things and we can dig into them, guess what happens? We get to change the thing. We get to change the
Yes.
action of it. Right. And you've done that all on your own.
Yeah.
Just by changing a few things that you've not talked about in your life.
Yeah.
Right. That have stayed secret. I love Chris Yaden from Sapria.
Oh, yes.
Which, anybody that is familiar with Sapria, they deal with, they offer retreats for women who were sexually abused as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And Betsy, their clinician, she has a statement that she says, oh, dang it, I can't remember it now. I'm so sorry. But she talks about how the healing happens at the hiding. The hiding happens alone, right?
Yes.
The hiding happens alone, and the healing happens in community. It happens in the light with other people. So I apologize, Betsy. I totally murdered that, but but the feeling of it has stayed with me. And Chris, uses that constantly when he talks about coming out of that space of being in your room on your phone, of retreating into alcohol or retreating into whatever vice, shopping. I mean, it doesn't matter. Your vice can be anything. It just fill in the blank with what you do when you escape. And the second that you bring that out into the open, into a community of supportive people, oh my goodness, the things that you can do when you just verbalize it.
And that's really the difference between guilt and shame.
Yeah.
Like you nailed it. Guilt is about
hiding,
or the shame is about hiding.
Yeah.
Yes. The guilt is about bringing it into the light and coming together with others. Like the 4 criteria of any counterfeit emotion is connection, direction, motivation, and valuation. And connection, guilt connects.
Yeah.
Guilt connects me with my soul.
Do you know, Curtis, I'm sorry, I just have a thought about guilt,
go.
Because I've really thought about this since you and I have known each other and since you started to introduce counterfeit emotions into the world. What is guilt? Like, we know what shame is, right? But these 2 emotions are so intertwined. And I thought, where does that come from? Where does it come from that you feel badly about the thing that you're doing? That because I think we want to attribute that to maybe a moral compass that's religious or spiritual somehow. But I think innately humans, this is something that is built into our ecosystem, this shame and this guilt. And I'm just so curious. I've really pondered it. Like, where does this come from? Because even if you're without somebody teaching you the moral right and wrong of the world, you still feel the emotions of the thing. And I just think
Yeah.
that's just so fascinating
Yeah.
that we can't label it. We don't know where it comes from. And we spend so much time reading books, listening to podcasts, searching for deeper meaning, trying to get out of the space where we feel shame or guilt. And we just are neutral Switzerland, right?
Mhm.
We become stoic.
Yeah.
And so I was just curious. On my way here today, I thought I'm going to ask Curtis what he thinks about this because it's just a fascinating little niche that you have brought to the light.
I'm so glad you're asking this question
Yeah.
because it is so critical to so many other aspects of life.
Right.
And guilt is getting a bad rap in today's world. You hear it all the time. Oh, don't let him guilt you.
Mhm.
That's such a guilt trip. And people are saying, don't feel guilt.
Right.
But we couldn't have civilized society without guilt.
Ooh, say more.
There's only 4 personality types that can't feel guilt. And I'm sure you could guess them.
Yeah.
Narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, and borderline personality disorder.
Right.
Those are the only 4 that can't feel guilt. So if we didn't have guilt in our society, we would be a bunch of psychopaths and narcissists running around saying, uh-oh, I don't care what I do to you because I feel no guilt. But just like you described, it is innate inside of us. And if you look back at the etymology of the word, it dates back to the 1300s, an Old English word called gilden. And the word gilden is not what you think. It's not this, oh, I'm a horrible person, etc. That's shame. Gilden, the root definition of guilt, gilden means that I want to make whole. I want to repay.
Oh.
The feeling of guilt is I hurt you.
Yeah.
And therefore I want to repay. I want to make whole. That's why there's that connection.
Yeah. I love that.
There's that connection that says, oh, I'm not. Well, number one, we connect with ourselves and I say, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not the kind of person that goes around hurting Carrie or anyone. And so we connect with ourselves. Then the second part of guilt is we get on our knees and we ask God for forgiveness, right? So we connect with God. But in order to repay, I have to connect with you. I have to connect. I can't do it alone. I can't hide. I have to say, Carrie, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I did this. That was me. And I am so sorry. Will you please forgive me? And how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that?
Yeah,
guilt?
the experience of being broken and having to make whole.
Yeah.
Right. In that way. Yeah.
And one of the reasons shame counterfeits guilt so well is because both of them have pain. Both of them are associated with pain. And the pain is an important part of guilt. But here's the big difference. With guilt, guilt is one of the only authentic emotions that is not meant to be held. It's just meant to be felt.
Passing through.
It's yeah. Guilt moves us to action. Guilt says, Curtis, you hurt Carrie. You go make it right because Carrie is a beautiful daughter of God.
Oh.
And because of that, you do what's right to make her whole again. And so I move to action. I connect with you. And one way to know definitively if you're feeling guilt or shame is if you've done everything you can to repay and you still feel like crap. That's shame. If you've done everything you can to repay and you surrender and you say, okay, I've repaid, and you let it flow through you, that's guilt.
I think that requires an incredible amount of self-awareness, Curtis, of which we were talking about here.
So
right?
much.
To label that.
Yeah.
To label the fact that, first of all, I have hurt someone else. I think innately you have to know. And in this situation, we're talking about somebody else, but I think that also applies to ourselves, right? This is why we use the word should and shouldn't to ourselves. Oh, I should go to the gym. I should not eat that, right? I should, oh my gosh, please stop shoulding, everybody,
We got to stop shoulding ourselves.
Should ourselves to death, and I think that's really significant though, to replace that word with something else that says, I don't want to hurt this person. You mentioned that earlier. I don't want to, the desire, right? And if you state the intention of that, how much easier it is to use that intention as the guide when you don't have anything else to guide you. Just the intention enough is will do the job to progress you a little further down that road toward making better, healthier choices for yourself,
Yeah.
right? And I
Yeah.
really appreciate that idea of wholeness, because I think we also have to do that for ourselves, to forgive ourselves, to give
Yeah.
grace to ourselves, right? And
Yes.
also when we realize in this specific context, Curtis, when we realize that everyone's relationship with God, with their soul, with people, with the earth, everyone is different. Everyone feels energy differently. Everybody's environment is different. How you grew up, the principles that you were taught in your home or not taught in your home, right? The nurture versus
Mhm.
nature, how much that plays into guilt and shame.
Yeah.
And I'm always curious to know what actually, if we were left to be a blank slate and we were not influenced by anything else in the world, what would be the things that we'd be paying attention to within ourselves?
Mm.
If there weren't other voices around, right? Which is why meditation and all of these other kind of wellness practices are so significant to people, because it can quiet that monkey mind, right? The
Yeah.
chatter, and
Yeah.
give you an opportunity to get in touch with yourself. But if we really go back, if you're Christian, let's go all the way back to the garden, right? Like you're just peacefully, blissfully existing until there's another voice in the garden.
Mm.
Oh, well, then now I have a distraction to pay attention to, right? I'm
Mm.
no longer in my wholeness. I'm a little fractured because now there's something else to pay attention to. And I often think about that. I wonder what their experience, Adam and Eve, if you're Christian, that will be familiar to you. I
Sure.
wonder what that experience was like for them. This blissful, amazing peace, this one unity with the animals and the plants and nature, and feeling that in your body, connected to all of that. And then all of a sudden, there's this random voice in your head. And you're like, what? Where did you come from? Like, I've seen every part of this garden and you were not here.
Who are you?
Who are you? And I think about that a lot. Like, how many times are we in a peaceful place where guilt and shame does not exist in that moment, just in that moment? And then there's a voice saying
Mm.
you should or you shouldn't,
Mm.
right? That we have to pay attention to. And what would we be like if we were just left to be at peace with ourselves and figure it out on our own?
Where did that conversation take you? Like,
It
where
took me
did
right here to this podcast, Curtis. I'm going to talk to Curtis about it. Well, I think for me, and we started this conversation out talking about, porn. And I think for me, porn is a massive distraction. It's a massive voice in your head, in your garden of peace, that you don't need, nor
Yeah.
do you have to look at it, right? It's a choice. Everything is a choice. If we want to compare, we can say Eve didn't have to talk to the serpent, right?
Mhm.
But she made a choice. So in that moment, she immediately became part of a bigger experience of choice, right?
Mm.
We get to do that every single day, every single day. So even without guilt and shame, the choice itself is always presented to you in your hands.
Yeah.
So you can decide. And I think that is the thing that people don't understand when we start talking about addictive behavior, is that they feel like they lose autonomy over their choices
Yeah.
because they've already made a distracting choice.
Yep.
Oh, well, I've already made that, so I might as well just do it again. And it becomes easier and easier to give in to that pattern.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just simply say, I see you, porn. I know you're there. I know I could look at you right now, but I think I'm not going to.
I don't need you.
I don't need you. I don't need the voice in my head. I don't need the distraction in my head. And I am a powerful enough spiritual being that I don't have to have you in my life.
Yeah.
And I think when we teach our children that, when we teach our teenagers that they do have autonomy, that the second they make a choice that benefits their life in a positive way, they are already progressing and maturing in a way that it took us probably 20 more years to do, right? Because some of us were taught that and
So
some of us
true.
weren't, and so we just go through life figuring it out. But as parents, Curtis, I think in this day and age, we have a massive responsibility to share the wisdom that that we have gained.
Yeah.
It's not for us to keep. It's always for us to pass down, right? Even if it's different, even if the words are different that we use to connect with our kids, the feeling of that, the idea of agency, the
Mhm.
idea that you can have an experience all into yourself through choice, right, is an amazing conversation to have.
It's so important. And I'm going to give a little bit of the secret sauce of
Yeah.
why our program is so effective.
Yeah.
Is and I, maybe we'll have to edit this out later, but I love it when somebody is going through the program
Mm.
and they have a lapse.
Mhm.
And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You love it when they go look at pornography? No, the
No.
pornography is destructive.
But they
It-
recognize it.
But here's the thing: you can white knuckle for
Yeah.
weeks or
Yeah.
months, but when you have a lapse, you are
Mm.
faced.
Yeah.
When you have a lapse, you are faced with a decision.
Choice. Yeah.
And it's at that point that shame is just going to be screaming
Mhm.
in your soul. It's going to be like, you are worthless. It's the sobriety clock, the
Mhm.
worth clock
Mhm.
of, okay, go. How long can you hold your breath?
Yeah. Right.
And
Yeah.
then you have to look at this clock and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, I can't hold it anymore. And finally you have to breathe. And you have to
Mhm.
let it out.
Yeah.
That's the sobriety experience.
Mhm.
We don't look at time as the
Mhm.
metric.
Yeah.
Time is not the metric.
Yeah, I love that.
The metric is how many of the demons in your
Mhm.
soul have you taken to lunch?
Mhm.
How many of those have you said, I want to see you. I want to
Mhm.
look at you
Woo, boyfriend, I have been to lunch a lot of times
with your demons.
with those demons. I think we all have, right? Business expense. I went to lunch with my demon, whatever that is for you,
Yeah.
But I think the importance of realizing that you're in that moment, sitting with that demon, whatever that is,
Yeah.
and that you're having to have a conversation with it to actively engage in making a choice about whether or not you're going to proceed with it or
Yeah.
not is so awesome.
Whether you're going to file it with shame.
Right.
Whether you're going to take that experience
Mhm.
and say, okay, in my brain,
Mhm.
I'm getting my filing system and it goes in the shame
Yeah.
folder. This is where it lives.
Mm.
And it's crazy because I actually get excited when they're like, Curtis, I had a lapse. I
Mhm.
don't know what to do. I'm like, great. This is great.
Yeah.
Because now we can reframe the whole thing.
Yeah.
And just like you talked about earlier, is it's not about the time, okay, like one guy, he went right until the 8th week of our
Mhm.
program.
Mhm.
And he's like, I did so good for 8 weeks. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The time doesn't matter.
Right.
What matters is what you do right now.
That's right.
That you can say, oh, I'm going to go dig out
That's
that
right.
demon
Mhm.
out of my soul and actually be grateful
Mhm.
for the lapse, because that is God putting a pin in
Mhm.
your map.
Mhm.
It's taking the map of your soul and saying, hey, Curtis, go right here and dig.
Mhm.
Carrie, right here and dig, or whoever. It doesn't matter. This is the spot in
Mhm.
your soul I need you to make peace
Mhm.
with,
Mhm.
so you can become more
Mhm.
like me.
Oh, I love that so much though, Curtis. That peace, making peace with that experience is so significant. I mean, that's why it's a part of your program,
Yeah.
because you cannot, because guilt and peace can live together
Yes.
in a beautiful way. They
Yes.
promote and motivate one
Yes.
another, right? But that
But shame and
will
peace
keep you. I remember you
can't.
describe sobriety as like the white knuckle experience on the motorcycle, right? You're just
Yeah.
hanging on for dear life. And that recovery experience is the part where you get to name the thing, recognize that it's happening in you, and you just get to make a decision about how you're going to move forward with it.
Yeah.
So I can go white knuckle it over here, right? With my shame,
Uh-huh.
or I can sit on this side and I can say, oh, I remember why I was in Curtis's program, why I started this program 8 weeks ago. It's because this doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
But now, instead of sitting in shame all by myself hiding, I'm out here with the group saying, hey guys, guess what? I realize this doesn't feel good for me.
And help me dig.
And help me get into it.
Help me dig.
And I love that because
Yes.
I think in anything that you do, Curtis, porn, obviously is a topic that we're both really passionate about.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it because I have 2 boys and I have a daughter who's out in the world trying to all 3 of my kids will try to find partners at some point who are the best fit partners for them.
Yeah.
And porn is going to be part of their conversation. It has to be
Yep.
before they ever get married,
Yep.
right? Even before they get into serious relationship, this has to be part of the dialogue. And so, but it can relate to anything. You know, my podcast, Refined Resilience, focuses on the resilience part, which I think very much sits in this peaceful acceptance
Yeah.
that you're human and that you are in a challenge.
Yeah.
And name the challenge, because without naming it, we can't make those small pivots that lead to great moments in your life, right? And they're just tiny. They're ever so tiny. I'm scrolling through, you know, you brought up my son earlier, my kids, and how I converse with them about this. And I remember my now 21-year-old son a few years ago when he came to talk to me about, you know, his experience. It had been like maybe the 3rd or 4th time that he came and talked to me about it, right? So this is like, we're seeing repeated habits, right? Patterns. So let's sit in that space and see why we're digging into the pattern. Why do we go back to it, right? Because it's comforting, because you have the shame. Curtis, both my boys in their experiences with porn came to me with tears in their eyes. But they came to me with tears in their eyes. And that alone is a pivot, just the tiniest little pivot, which is actually monumental. It's great in that tiny little pivot, which they don't see at that moment. But as the parent, we have the opportunity to see that for what it is. And we know that.
Yeah.
We know that great moment that they just think is swallowing them whole.
Yeah.
It's just the most beautiful moment in their life, because they get to have ownership of that path, and they get to own those experiences and those feelings. And I remember saying to my son when he first came to me exactly what you said. Okay. Thank you for telling me, you know, like, and how can I help? Let's sit and talk about this. Don't just ask. This is the thing that I think we're so good at doing as humans. How can I help? Well, I don't know.
That's why I came to
you. You know, we're so good at asking, how can we help, without actually knowing how we can help, right? Our kids specifically. And so I said to my son, how can I help? And he goes, I do like to give the option for them to think about it. You know, he thought about it for about 10 seconds, and that was long enough for me to realize he had no idea. So I said, okay. I said, well, let's talk about what happens right before you make that choice. Yes. What happens in your body? Yes. What do you feel in your body? Like, what's driving you to make the choice to actively engage with the thing that you're seeing? And we were there, Curtis, probably in my room, sitting on the floor against the wall in my room, letting him walk through that experience for himself so that he could identify it the next time that he saw it. And this is how we get from shame to guilt. I mean, we've said that a few times, you know, in this interview, and you say it consistently throughout your work. But I just want to reiterate that we're not only talking about ourselves and the autonomy over ourselves, we're also talking about how we engage with the people who bring those choices to us, that addictive behavior to us, and ask us for support and ask us for help. And I think that's the deer in the headlight moment where so many parents, friends, spouses, parents, you know, we look at and go, oh, you're doing what?
Yeah.
Drinking, gambling, lost a lot of money. I've been sexting with somebody online, and now my pictures are out there in the world to see. Like the deer in the headlight moment that you don't ever see coming.
Yeah.
Right? Comes, and all of a sudden you're stuck with, I did something, right? Now the shame has been transferred to me somehow as the person that missed the signs of that happening. I'm doing something wrong. You know, you and I have talked a lot about the importance, and I love that you bring spouses into your workshop sometimes.
Oh, did I tell you?
No.
We are, so our
yes, you did tell me.
Our next cohort is September 3rd.
You did tell me.
But we're going to have a wife program as well.
Love it. I love
it.
So
it's not just going to be the men.
I love that.
It is going to be the men and the wives.
Well, because to go back to the word guilt, that wholeness, right? It has to be the whole picture.
Yeah.
Anybody who's involved in that needs to understand where it's coming from, why it exists, why the choice was made, why the behavior continues. Um, and I think that is, for me, I want the support network of the individuals that are struggling with porn to understand they also have autonomy over how they respond.
Yeah.
They have not, right? They have I think we all have a responsibility to get real educated on the things that our people are looking at, even if we're not asking them directly what they're looking at, right? See, and that could apply to anything. I don't care what that is. If it becomes an addiction for you, right? We need to know about it. We need to be aware as society of the things that are pulling people in so that we can talk about them when they come to us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And this is fascinating. So I was talking with my Patty yesterday, and she was
I love that you call her that. It's so cute. I love
it. she was reading, talking about, our culture
Yeah.
and scrupulosity and everything. She was reading in the LDS Church's handbook of how to parent and different things. And she's like, I read something that totally blew me away. It said, instead of, in most religions, it's like, don't do this at any cost. Make sure you don't do this. It was saying, let your kids make the mistakes.
Yeah.
Let them watch
You have to.
that PG-13 or rated R movie and then talk to them.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh yeah, just throw them into sin or anything like that. It's let them come up with the answers and then be there to sit with them when they feel the pain.
Yeah.
And when the confusion is there, then be there for them. Don't necessarily do the emotion shielding of, okay, I'm going to protect you from all the emotions and all the experiences and then go out into the real world. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's no, let's go through this together and let's scrape away the shame.
Well, and I think it's really scary when we're talking about LDS culture specifically, because this is what the culture that we're in, in Utah. But I think it's very, when we're dealing with multi-generational culture traditions, in our families, the way that we talk about things, how we structure right and wrong, how we talk about shame and guilt, right? These are very, my mom always says she was always going to be Catholic, Jewish, or Mormon. That was it. Because of how the generation that she was raised with, right? Yeah. Is like, well, I got guilt no matter where I go, but those are the top three that would fit me. So I think when we're dealing with cultures that are very, very right and wrong, which I love that Patty read this and discovered something new in that space. I think it's always been there, Curtis. But the culture that we've created for ourselves has always been a very tight-lipped, suppressive culture where we don't talk about the things that are scary to us that we don't understand. And I think that's the biggest culture shift that we can make as LDS people to join the greater Christian world, is it's not scary.
It's not scary.
It's just reality. It's just real. It's part, again, be of the world, right? Be in the world, not of the world. But you have to know about the world in order to operate in it and keep yourself on a path that feels good to you. If you don't know what's out there, you don't know how to protect yourself from it. You don't know if it feels good for you or if it doesn't. So yes, we all, including our kids, have to make mistakes. We have to make choices that are going to lead us down a path where some of that shame is going to be there so that we can understand, that choice, which may feel great to somebody else, but that choice for me, boy, that does not feel good for me. So what are you going to do with that? Well, now we have to make a different choice. If you know that doesn't feel good, you have to make a different choice. You always hear don't touch the stove, because you'll get burned. But it's true. If you touch the stove, you're going to get burned. You're going to be more careful with an oven mitt next time you go to, or like a, or like a big, long handled wooden spoon so that you don't get burned.
Guaranteed.
It's the same concept.
Yeah.
And
the bubble popped a long time ago.
For sure.
We've got everything everything in this little
Right.
device right here.
Yeah.
And the bubble popped.
Yeah, it's here. It's in our living room. It's in our
Yeah.
kids' bedrooms. It's
And it doesn't mean we
It's in our hands.
it's in our hand. And it doesn't mean we invite those things in,
Right.
the harmful things into our lives.
Yeah.
But we do need to be aware of it. We
Yeah.
do need to not only be aware of it, but know how to respond
Yeah.
in a way that does produce that healthy
Mm-hmm.
healthy response.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I am so excited about our event coming up,
Yes, me too.
about the pornography recovery
Yeah.
panel, and it's going to be so amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody come sign up.
Yes.
Sign up for the event. It's going to be incredible. But one of the reasons is to shed a new light
Mm-hmm.
on it,
Mm-hmm.
and get out of the old thinking of sobriety,
Mm-hmm.
get into the new thinking of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And one way to illustrate this is when I was dating Patty.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Tooele.
Yeah.
And so one day I decided to go for a run over there, and I was going down this new running path, and it converged. There was two paths, and there were some bushes.
Mm-hmm.
And as I came around the bushes, the paths merged together, and there was a guy which matched my pace that was just right there. It was like all of a sudden I'm running alone, and now I'm running together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, hey, how are you? And we start having this conversation, get to know him a little bit, and we're running along.
Runners. I don't know about you guys.
I know, runners.
You get your own subculture that I have to learn about. I'm a walker, so
And it was fascinating because he told me his story.
Yeah.
And he talked about how he used to be this massive drunk and all of these things, and then he went through a program and he got sober. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And he goes, yeah, I've been 5 years sober. And I'm like, way to go.
Yeah.
Congratulating him. Like, way to go. This is awesome. How do you feel? And he almost stopped in the middle of the run, and he looks at me and he goes, I feel horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
hold on. You've been 5 years sober and you feel horrible? And he goes, oh yeah. I used to be able to tip the bottle back, and as the liquid went down my throat, I could drown those demons. He's like, I have nothing to drown the demons with now. And they scream. And they scream loudly. And that's sobriety. Sobriety is saying, I've got these demons that are pushing up and screaming into my soul, and I'm gonna keep pushing them down, pushing them down, pushing them down. It's like the beach ball underwater. The farther it goes, the more pressure there is to shoot it back up. And recovery is so different. Recovery isn't 5 years of misery.
Yeah.
Recovery is waking up in the morning, feeling peace, knowing that you have a path to peace.
But I think that too, Kurt, and patience. Oh my goodness, please give yourself so much grace in that space.
Yeah.
Because it's incremental. It's so tiny. Like I said, a tiny little pivot every day that gets you on that path. 5 years of doing that, amazing. What a warrior. What a warrior that guy is, right? Curtis, I don't have experiences personally in porn. I think we can all take a deep breath and be grateful for that, right? However, for me, I think and not that you're asking me, but I'm going to share willingly. My biggest kind of demon was an eating disorder. I mean, I was on the border of being bulimic, right on that border of being bulimic for years and years and years, right? And it was a self-made choice, right? There were outside voices that I allowed to distract me to come to even entertain the fact that, oh, maybe there's something wrong with my body. I was fine before. Someone made a comment about my body at 13, 14 years old. That was it. That was it for me. I was so spongy and open and naive at that age, which I think we all are. Most of us anyway, that distracting voice could just come right in. It had an open door. And it left me until my 20s. I mean, I really when I was about 24, I remember the final choice to engage with that eating disorder. I was 24.
Ooh,
I'd been
tell me
married for
more.
a year. Um, I served an LDS mission when I came home early from my LDS mission because of this eating disorder, because my body was so malnourished and because I didn't take care of myself. And I loved the people and I loved the mission and I loved everything about it, but I wasn't taking care of myself. And so, but I'll tell you something, Curtis, I felt like a spiritual giant in that space. I really did. And here's what I learned. And this is what I want to relate to this experience of recovery versus sobriety. I came home. My family was living in Belgium at the time. And my dad picked me up at the airport, and I probably weighed, I don't know, 113 pounds.
Oh, wow.
You know, my nails were black. My hair was falling out. All the typical eating disorder things when your body becomes malnourished over years of engaging with an eating disorder. And I just looked like a skeleton, you know. And my dad picked me up and he was terrified, of course, because what do I do? What do I even do with this? Right? The deer in the headlight moment.
Yeah.
I never even saw this coming. They never even knew that this was a thing
Really?
in my life. Yeah, because it was intermittent. It was never consistent. You know, I had played with it when I felt bad about my body, right? I had trained myself to be in that pattern of throwing up my food because I was not enough in my body, the way my body looked. People want to attribute this to my parents, the whole thing. It's not. It was my choice, totally my choice to engage with it. And I was young and stupid and created a pattern and a thought process for myself where that became the action I took when those thoughts entered. Right?
Could we reframe that? That you
Yes.
were young and human?
Thank you. Young and human. Yes, I love that too. Yeah, I mean, I was just young and human and open, naive to the, I mean, any voice could have come into that space and it would have been so easily penetrating my soul because I just was so innocent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so when I got home, I tried to go to counseling. I went to one counseling session with a counselor who said, "Oh, this is your mom's issue. You know, you have control issues with your mom." Curtis, I tell you what, I looked at him and said, "This is not about my mom. This is about my choice and my patterns."
Wait, you said that at 20?
So I was 21, 21 and a half, like, so almost 22.
That is amazing
So, well, I
insight
just
for a
I was
21-year-old.
frustrated with the counselor. I was like, I am here to talk about like this thing that I've created for myself, of which my parents are not actually a part of. There is no control issue here. This is a pattern of behavior that I've created that I don't know how to get out of. That's it. Right? And I think when you put everybody else out of the picture and you just focus on the thing that you did, that you have control over, it just frees you from anything else that might be influencing that choice. And all of a sudden, it just becomes about your choice.
You break out of
You
the
break
victim.
it. You break it. No, this is not about anybody else. It's, do we have influences and reasons? And yes, all of those things seep in and influence us, right? Yeah. And I'm not talking about deep trauma, like deep sexual abuse. Like there's all kinds, there's levels, Curtis, right, of things that have influenced us. But for me, I'm saying when I exclude myself from all of those outside voices, I am so free to make my own decision about how I'm going to move forward. And in this moment, in that counseling session, I realized there's only one person that can walk with me in this journey, and it's not you. It's Christ. And I'm going to walk with him. And I'm going to feel all this, and I'm going to have relapses with him, and I'm going to pray to him, and I'm going to talk to him when I'm driving in the car, and when I am right in front of that toilet, which is gross. Sorry, everybody listening, but this is the reality of a bulimic eating disorder. When I am right on the edge, I'm going to know that he's right by me. And if he's right by me, I'm not going to do the thing, because he and I have worked too hard to let this thing be the action that I take in this moment when I'm desperate. And I had some of my most sincere, beautiful, exposed, vulnerable conversations sitting on the floor of a bathroom with Christ,
Mm.
wondering, could I break this stupid cycle that I got myself into? And how, Curtis, the emotions, you get a high when you have an eating disorder. You get a high, like any addiction, right? Any escape.
Dopamine hit.
Yeah, you get that high and you
Mhm.
can live off that for a little while because I took ownership of something in this way, which was completely beat me up
Destructive.
afterward and
Yeah.
destroyed me. But for like maybe a couple days after that, you can live with that,
Mm.
because you think that you took action in some positive way where you've taken back control of something in your life, of the choice. Yeah, you did. You just did it in a very temporary manner, right? And a non-productive one for the long-term experience. And I remember the moment that I just decided, nope, I'm not going to temporarily escape into this pattern that I have created for myself. And I closed the lid and I sat on the floor and I just cried, Curtis. 24, married, happily, working, living a pretty normal life. And there's this thing sitting inside of me that I cultivated for myself. And I think when we talk about shame and guilt, it is the hardest thing to overcome is your own choice. That's the hardest thing to break out of, is the fact that you made that choice. And so I can sit in shame, I can hide,
Yeah.
or I can name it. Hey, you made a choice. Guess what? If I say I made a choice, I get to make a different one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think that's the key. It all boils down to guilt says I did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Shame says I am wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
Guilt says I made a mistake. Shame says my existence is
That's
a
right.
mistake.
And you can feel the difference when you're in that moment. If you're really paying attention to yourself, you can feel the difference. I am not this thing,
Yeah.
but I'm living with this thing, this demon, right? That I've buried deep inside, this appendage to my life.
Yeah.
That I've buried deep inside. I see you. I feel you. I know you're there. But I feel also very separate from you. Do you remember Labyrinth? The David
movie?
Bowie's like
Oh,
movie
yeah.
Labyrinth with the garbage lady who's packing around all of like her
Uh-huh.
house and she just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I feel like sometimes when I get in that space of those I am negative, pathways, I'm just packing it on the back of me. And oh my gosh, Curtis, how heavy is that to carry around all the time?
Yeah.
And you don't have to, because Christ did that for you.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's the key, is
Yeah.
when we can pull those demons out of our soul and take them to lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and we can sit across the table and say, can we make peace?
Yeah.
Can I see
Mm-hmm.
you for what you are?
Mm-hmm.
That 13-year-old
Mm-hmm.
Carrie
Yeah.
that had someone say something
Mm-hmm.
horrible to her that changed the next
Yeah.
7, 8 years of her life. I guess 10 years, 11 years.
Yeah.
Can I go back to that Carrie and see that she
Mm-hmm.
is the person I'm taking to lunch?
Yeah.
It's not actually a demon.
Right.
It's a part of my soul.
Yeah.
It's a part of your soul that says, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
And you've had to carry this for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can take it.
Yeah.
You can rest.
Yeah.
Come back into
Mm-hmm.
me
Mm-hmm.
in a place of peace and lay that beautiful person down. Give him a kiss on the forehead and say, it's time to rest.
Yeah.
I've got it from here.
Yeah. That's such a beautiful visual, Curtis. And I love that. What that looks like for me was every day looking at myself in the mirror and saying, right? You and Christ, Carrie. You and Christ. You're Wonder Woman. Go. You got this. But Curtis, it's an active engagement with the demon, to your point. It's not just going to lunch. It's oh, you're with me. You're the Peter Pan shadow, right?
I love
You're
that
with
analogy.
me all the time. And I have to consciously be aware that you are with me all the time so that I can make peace with you. It's not just when it pops up, because it's always there, right? So if you can walk with it while it's always there, then it's not, the pop-ups get less and less.
Yeah.
The surprise of having to deal with that gets less and less, because you're just fully aware that it's here and you're just walking with it. Okay, we're just going to walk together. This is a part of me.
Yeah.
It's not who I am.
It's not who I am.
but it's attached to me. And so I've got to treat it like it's a delicate part of my life. And how do I engage with that? I let it exist and I let it pass through me because I know that on the other side of that, I'm going to be okay.
Well, what you resist persists.
Yeah.
And as long as we're resisting, as long as we're pushing it down, it is gonna keep screaming. And it's not until we say, hey, let me see you.
Yeah, let me see you.
Let
Let
me
me look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the men that went through my program, it's been an amazing experience because he's going through some incredibly hard things right now.
Yeah.
Like incredibly hard. Divorce, all of this other stuff. And we were having the conversation and he was telling me about how hard things were. And then he just stops and he opens his eyes like wide and he goes, Curtis, I haven't been tempted once.
Oh, I love that so much.
And the hope that there is recovery, like Todd Sylvester talks about, that over is inside the word recovery. There's so much hope that once you make peace with that part of your soul, you don't have to keep resisting because it's not going to keep screaming. It screams until you say, I'm going to see you. I'm going to acknowledge you. I'm going to put you in a place of peace in my soul.
Love. Well, and the other part of that too, Curtis, I'm thinking as you're talking is, you know, if you walk the good and the bad with Christ, I think oftentimes we save Christ for the good.
Yeah.
You know, we ask for help, but we don't walk with him.
Yeah.
He's up there while we're going through our bad stuff and we're praying and we're asking for help. And he's like, I'll go on the walk with you. You just have to invite me. You know, like, I'm happy to walk. That's all I did when I was on the earth. You know, like, let's walk. And I think if we are walking with him and he's a part of us, he's a part of me and that shadow and my whole journey, and we're all going to get through this together. It's a very different recovery experience when you bring him into it with you. He knows that you're going to have a relapse. He knows that you're human. He knows he has the gift that he's given us aside from his own life is the autonomy to be aware of our own decisions. It's a gift. Choice is the gift, right? Is. And so of course he's going to walk with you. He loves you. He loves you. You can be the worst. You can be on the floor contemplating killing yourself and he's going to be right there with you, telling you no, I need you to get up and walk with me, right? And I think when we allow him to be part of that journey and we take away the shame of the actions that we're in while he's with us, if he's with us, guess what, Curtis? There is no shame. There's no shame in that journey. It's literally just power, right? You're going to be weak. You're going to crave it. You're going to want it. You're going to want to go back to it. And you might. And he's going to be right there telling you, yeah, that was a hard moment. How are we going to pivot from here? Yeah. Right? It's the action. That's the action. And that's all he cares about. He doesn't care that you relapse. What he cares about is what you do next. Yeah. Right? And as a parent, as a friend, as a daughter, that's all I care about. What is the next action that we're going to take? I don't have time to sit in that moment where I was on the floor crying in my tears because I didn't throw up. What am I going to do now? Right? And that for me was a very pivotal moment where I just decided, hey, I'm not going to do this again. I'm done with this. Right? Yeah. Is it always in the back of my head? Always, Curtis, always, because it's part of my journey. But I don't play with it anymore. You know, I don't take it out for a picnic. Like, you know, he just stayed. They know she knows where she's supposed to be at and she stays there, you know, and I fill that void with other more healthy things like chocolate, you know, like chocolate and Christ. It's all you need. I'm telling you. But I feel like,
well, that's such a soundbite right there.
I just really believe that to my core, Curtis, that we don't leverage Christ in our lives the way that he wants us to use him.
Well, I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier, is that like he knew. Yeah. He knew we were going to mess up. Yeah. He knew we were going to screw up over and over and over again. Right. And that is the plan. Mm-hmm. if you think about
Well,
like
all the way back
going,
to Adam and Eve,
well, even before,
right? Yeah.
even before
Yeah.
that,
Right.
like there, God had
Mm-hmm.
a plan and Satan
Mm-hmm.
had a plan. And what was God's plan?
Yeah.
God's plan was that we were going to have a savior.
Mm-hmm.
Satan's plan was the perfectionism. Satan's plan was that we would
That we
never
never,
screw
yeah.
up,
Which is
that we'd
why.
never mess up.
So who introduced shame?
Well, yeah.
I mean, right? It's shame is non-existent without the opposite evil force in our life. It doesn't exist because if Christ only wants to play with guilt, that motivates you. Let's say,
Mhm.
right? He wants that emotion to be there because it moves you forward somehow, right?
Yeah.
Shame is absolutely the absolute opposite. I mean, you know this. This is what we've been talking about the whole time. But Satan came into the garden and said, "Oh, God's coming. Go put your clothes on.
First thing he said
Go
was
hide." Right?
Yes.
Go hide. And what did Christ say? Why are you hiding from me? We're friends. I know you. I love you. I accept you. I knew that you would do this, and it's okay. It's
Yeah.
part of a bigger plan,
Yeah.
right? And I think that is our job as parents to say to our kids, "Why are you hiding from me? I knew you were going to screw up, kid. You're a kid. Like, welcome to the world."
I love
You know?
you and I accept
I love you and I accept that this is a struggle for you, right?
Yeah.
So let's think through this critically together. Let's use Christ. Let's use all the tools that we have at our disposal to walk you through this process. And then while I'm doing that with you, let me do it for myself too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that we progress together. So that together as a parent and child, we're moving forward in the plan of agency. And I just think this is such a beautiful part that we don't talk about enough, is that connection to Christ in the journey every single day, all day long.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because the plan was that he'd be a savior and redeemer.
That's right.
And I know this is crazy, but I actually didn't know what that meant, the redeemer
Yeah.
side of things, until the hardest trials of my
Mhm.
life. And I actually needed a redeemer.
Yeah.
I needed someone to buy me back. And the crazy thing is, he's been doing it all along. And I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was buying me back. My thought pattern was, okay, there was an event that happened 2,000 years ago, and that'll apply when I meet Peter at the pearly gates, right?
You're meeting Peter? I'm meeting a caseworker. So that's good that you got it. My caseworker is Lakeisha. She is like full in on Christ. She knows the deal, and I talk to her all the time. God's like, Carrie no guardian angels for Carrie. She needs a caseworker. So I am so excited to meet Lakeisha at the pearly gates.
That's, yeah.
Lakeisha, Peter,
I mean, whoever it is, why not? But that was my idea of Christ's atonement. Was it happened back then, and it'll apply here. And that's a piece of the atonement. What Christ's atonement really is that right now, this second, it's not here and here. It's here and here and here
That's
and here
right.
and here. All the way along.
Yeah.
He buys me back.
Yeah.
That he gives me my next breath. That he gives me life. That I can mess up. And he's there because that's the plan. The plan isn't to be perfect. That's Satan's plan. The plan is to be human and learn and grow. And every time we fall, every time, reach up. Because that's where that beautiful pierced hand is.
Beautiful visual, Curtis. That's beautiful. I think you said something earlier, about recovery. You can't, if you're repressing those experiences, you're never going to actually fully get them out and recover. And I remember saying on my podcast with our good friend, Nikki Walker, who has passed on, which is just heartbreaking. I just want to recognize her soul in the world for a second. But we were talking about resistance. And I said, you can't be resilient if you're in resistance. And resistance is directly related to shame.
Yeah.
right? In these moments. And so recovery is in the resilience. And for me, Curtis, autonomy on my choices, my relationship with Christ, we have been through some stuff together. It's not me and then him, it's us together. We have been through some stuff.
Mm.
Well, not dang it, you're going to make me cry.
We got the Kleenexes.
Ah, my, my, our, the beauty of humanity, the beauty of this gift that we've been given in this body, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Um, is that we get to fall down, Curtis. This is the time.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Yeah.
Do it now. Do it in your body so you can appreciate the journey. So you can feel it in your hands. You can feel it in your soul. You can feel it holistically everywhere, right? And don't resist the experience of screwing up. Let it happen.
Because we're going
Because you're
to.
going to. And if you can
We're going
pre-accept
to.
that, if you can pre-accept that, the same thing as what you teach your people, you know, your participants, you're going to mess up, guys. You're going to have a relapse. Like I'm not even, there is no, that is the only thing that's going to happen in this journey, right? We're going to progress and then we're going to mess up and then we're going to progress and then we're going to mess up. And the action is that continued forward motion. We're becoming resilient because we're not resisting
Yeah.
the experience.
Yes.
That's it. And if you can just sit in that beautiful vibe, it changes everything for you. Curtis, you know, I have been, we're both, I am divorced. You're remarried to Patty, which I already said how cute you guys are. But I think when you are soloing it in the world, and you've got great amounts of responsibility and you've got great pitfalls that you can make and you can fall into when we feel shaken, right? That our path has been shaken somehow by somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this is why this support network that you're bringing into this space with people is so vital, because we are going to mess up and we're not going to know what to do. And we're going to need those people to help us recover from those moments. Right. And I think when you are a solo person in the world and you don't have a partner to bounce things off of or check in with, you know,
Yeah.
you're just checking in with yourself all the time. And I think you become very acutely aware that you are alone in the path. So every choice matters. Every single one matters, because there's no passing the buck to anybody else. Right?
It's a great opportunity to take full responsibility.
Full ownership, full transparency. And for me, my resilient journey has always included a transparent relationship with God and with Christ. I'm really going to mess up right now. Just hold my hand while I do it. Tell me I'm okay. Tell me you love me. And I think if we can pass that on to our children, Curtis, if we can pass that experience on of whole, transparent ownership and relationship with God, anything is possible. Anything. And nothing is scary.
Yeah.
Because you do it together.
And that's where hope is.
Yeah.
That is hope.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the outcome.
Yeah.
What matters is that I know God is by my side.
That's right. That I know God. Period. That's what matters, is that I know God and He knows me. So much power. I have like goosebumps.
I'm going with the Kleenex.
I am I'm so deeply, deeply grateful, Curtis, for the work that you're doing. And I want to tell my message on my podcast is that resilience is not linear, right? It requires us to constantly go back to the drawing board and figure out what we're going to do next, because maybe what worked before doesn't work now in this situation. We have to find something new to ground us and get us to the next point. I am so deeply grateful for each of the people that have come on my show to talk about their personal, vulnerable, naked experiences in resilience. And I'm so grateful for you and for the work that you're doing to bring people closer to God. And I'm so very grateful for the men and the women who are in this struggle of porn recovery together.
Yeah.
I'm so very grateful for the work that they're doing, Curtis. It matters. It changes the energy of the world. It changes the energy of our communities. It changes the marriages. It can save generations.
Generations.
This is heavy, intense work that you're doing. And when we're talking about connection to resilience, it's so personal, it's so customized to that person's experience, and we think it's just in our own little bubble, and really what we're doing is cascading this effective change we're putting it into the world for it to be adopted by other people. It's so I want to offer just this moment of recognition and encouragement for the men, the women, the couples, the kids, the parents who are living in this struggle of addictive behavior, trying to figure out how to get out of this porn mess that they've found themselves in. And I just want to say thank you for working so hard to find ways to change, because it matters to everybody. It matters to my daughter, who is seeking a man who can be fully transparent and whole for her. It matters to my boys because they're going to have wives who are looking for that same man. This matters, this work. It matters, and it matters to God. It matters to Him that they're doing this. It matters to Him that you're doing this. It matters that we stay open and honest and that we don't go into shame.
Yeah.
It matters. So I just want to recognize this challenging work that people are doing in themselves and encourage them to continue on the path, and every day just make a tiny little pivot toward God, toward spirituality, toward self, toward ownership, toward recognition. And eventually you're going to take all of that and you're going to give it to somebody else. You're going to gift it to the world, what you have learned about
Yeah.
you. And it's going to change people.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for such an amazing, beautiful conversation. And with all the counterfeit emotions, there's just one that can't be counterfeited, and that's peace. Where does Carrie find peace?
Wow. I'm going to say, Curtis, that peace is an elusive feeling for me. It's a curious feeling for me. I've spent so much of my time in fight or flight survival mode, post divorce and financial trauma, and trying to repair and figure out what to do next and how to be that person for my family. And I don't think, had a lot of active time to be at rest, to feel that. But I will say that I tend to feel the most spiritually energized when I'm in action, when I'm taking ownership of my life and I'm making those decisions about how I'm going to move forward, and I include Him with me. And to me, that spiritual energized moment is very peaceful for me, because I know that I am actually doing the thing that is organic and innate to me, which is to be in forward motion, doing something productive, trying to find the way to change the world for my kids, for myself, for my family. I think there's a lot of peace in knowing that you did everything that you could do for that moment. And so it's just incremental peace here and there. And then there's kind of this baseline of joy that peace operates in and out of.
Yeah.
And I think I have a great baseline of real joy, and it sustains me through the times, tumultuous, peaceful, etc. I feel peace when I speak about God and when I speak about Christ.
I feel that.
Yeah. So that was a really long answer to that question.
A very beautiful answer. Thank you.
Curtis, thank you so much for having me on.
It's been such an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us this week on such a beautiful, tender conversation. And if you're struggling to overcome pornography and you really want to find recovery, join us. Join us for one of the recovery cohorts. Our next one is going to be September 3rd. And then we're going to be doing an amazing event. Carrie and I are going to co host this event. We're going to have a panel discussion about the truth and the myths of pornography. And we're going to have it in a way that is going to be incredible. So we'll put the links in the video and make sure to sign up because it's going to be truly healing. And can't wait to have you there. And so until next week, don't resist. Pull out those demons. Find out what they're trying to say. Find out what message they're trying to say and make peace because that's the one emotion that can't be counterfeited. See you next week.